Hey everybody, it's Sarah Kai and Jennifer Kim here talking about the Unicorn team, diving into all of your questions. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, and check out the full playlist where we answer a lot of great stuff about team. All right, let's dive in. This video is going to be about the Visionizer. The first question that someone asked is, what are common characteristics of a Visionizer? Like, basically, how do you know you're one and what does that look like?
Okay, so first and foremost, let's talk about the good parts of the Visionizer, right? And I also want to make a distinction. Why you probably have heard the role being called visionary.
Yes.
So visionary versus Visionizer. Why do I call it a Visionizer? Because in the unicorn team model, they are in action. In other models, they're not supposed to do anything. Okay, and that's not realistic, right? Except have a vision, and then automatically, all the people will understand it, and all the clients will come. That's a visionary. If you're wanting something different, you consider yourself a Visionizer. So you're the founder, the creator, the person who has this big vision and is on a mission to get as many people on board as possible from an audience perspective. You know, you want people to know how you can help them. So that's a Visionizer, first and foremost. That's the definition.
Would you say that that person too is also responsible for like intellectual property and frameworks?
For
and
sure.
The ways, the methodologies in which they help people and how they want to see that expand and so on.
Exactly. And you also usually are the first, you're funding your business. So you're actually even the bank for your business, the Visionizer. So that's why it's Izer, because there are things you're holding that are critical to the business growing, but they're also very stressful for you as an individual and as a human. So the pros of a Visionizer is, I mean, you're whip smart in whatever you're dreaming up. Like there's a reason that you've dreamt up this idea or whatever you want to bring to market. So, and you're usually charismatic in some kind of way. And when I say that, doesn't mean you're introverted or extroverted or even an ambiverted person. It's more that like when you open your mouth about this idea, people are listening, right? And so the Visionizer is somebody that charismatically influences in some kind of way their intellectual property, their idea, their product, their service, etc. They're really in charge of the brand ultimately, okay? Because the brand, as we've described in other videos, even in our whole YouTube universe and on our IG, it's an ecosystem of all parts of the business, right? How you have people experience you is the Visionizer's job. When I say job, to be able to verbally let everyone know how they can experience the brand that they're stepping into. And so they're in charge of the brand. And again, they're in charge of overall the revenue, etc., from a this is what we got to do standpoint. Okay. The downside of a Visionizer, and this is real, and I'm just going to talk straight to you if you're listening and you're like, I'm a Visionizer and we can be crazy sometimes.
I wasn't ready.
That's the honest truth. And when I say crazy, that's part of the requirement of being a Visionizer.
I agree with that.
Because Visionizers are willing to take risks that other people aren't. And usually Visionizers are fast thinkers. They're fast starters.
Yes.
And people can't keep up with them. And as you grow and mature as a Visionizer, you will learn how to throttle your energy that the unicorn team follows. But usually when we first start working with people, even if you're successful with the money side, something's always true. You're frustrated. You have team trauma. You have hiring trauma. You have people who screwed up your business trauma. And because of that, you are a wild and crazy guy. You know, like you're not focused on how you can lead. You're focused on why did they screw it up. And so that is something that a Visionizer needs to work on, because we can be hot, you know, in our fire, because we're so passionate, because it's our idea, it's our business. And so, but it's being able to shape that in a way that other people want to get on board without like sabotaging you or, you know, whatever. I mean, the Cash App guy just got murdered by one of his employees.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I
missed that. So and again, this is by the time, if you know, Cash App, it's like Venmo, right?
Yeah, it's the whole thing.
And he got stabbed on the street by one of his employees. And I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm just saying that, like, it's a weird time too. Humans are tender after, you know, we've emerged from 2020, and also AI is a confronting idea for teams and visionizers. Because, like, what do I do with this? And as a visionizer, your job is to be able to take those inputs and ask yourself, how does this affect my brand? And your team is the number one thing that powers your brand.
And I think the team also protects the brand. If we talk about, I hear you talk about often about protecting the asset. And I see that often in visionizers have this polarizing desire to be in the ether, to see all the things in the spaces, but also this deep need for control, because there's a fear of not being able to be protected. Like nobody's got their back, or they don't understand them, or they don't see them. And so even things that might be small hiccups in a unicorn team finding their way through can feel almost fatalistic. And not to make fun of them, I believe that that's their true experience of, oh my gosh, this is not just this one issue, it's all the issues that I've experienced.
It's freaking scary when you lose money, or you feel like you made a bad decision, or like you gave some freedom to a team member that you thought had it, and then it still doesn't go exactly as seen. These are all real scenarios and feelings. And so we don't want to minimize them. But there's a way to create synergy in the unicorn team. And honestly, your number one job as Visionizer is to decide to be that person.
I love that.
That's really what it is. You can't live in this fantasy of it's all going to work out because of my mindset only, and also like because I've delegated everything. It's really about you taking an active role. The Izer part. Yes. It's you Izing. Like just along with your two other, you know, people
Izers.
Or roles. Yeah.
We're all Izers in this
So that's
together.
the difference. Yeah.
I love it. Okay. So a question that someone asked, which I think is really great. They said, how do you know when you're ready to lead a unicorn team? And I think, like, I know so many of the people who submitted questions that they bootstrap their business, or they sometimes feel like, oh, I've been the unicorn team, I've been the Visionizer, Strategizer, and Mobilizer, just swapping these hats, and I can't seem to find someone who's as good as me, and I want to, but I don't know what to do, and then I thought I had somebody, but then I didn't, and I had a new person, they called out sick. It's a whole, thing that's happening, right?
It's not easy.
And so how do you know when you're really actually ready to do it, even from that financial risk that you're taking by bringing more folks in and slowing down to really nurture these Izers on your team?
So my answer to that is quite long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 3 points. The first is, are you emotionally ready? And when we say ready, I mean you're never truly going to be ready. Right. Ready is a lie.
Yes.
Period.
Amen.
But it's like, do you have emotional support? And a lot of visionizers, when they're first starting out, don't have emotional support. They try to lean on their families or friends for that. And honestly, you don't need them to be your emotional support. They're not your pets, okay? You can't just, stroke their fur and think that it's going to magically make you feel better.
Like they're unqualified.
Oh, they're 1,000,000% unqualified. And so emotional support matters so that you can have durability during hard times. A Visionizer with a unicorn team becomes durable over time. And all the things that you were mentioning where they feel all these feelings, again, the feelings are real, but the emotions can be dangerous. And so you want to lead your unicorn team with feelings, but not emotions.
Yes. Okay. So good.
So, and what I say, honestly, is get professional help, whether that looks like a therapist, a coach, maybe for you, it's like, whenever you move your body, it releases some of the steam. Whatever works for you to emotionally get durable through hard times, that's the first thing. The second thing's, how do you know you're ready? Is that you're ready when you're sick of being the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, the janitor, and the CEO, aka the V, the S, and the M. All of us start out as the V, the S, and the M. And some of us still are wearing 2 hats. For example, Sarah and I, we have strategizers on our team, but in a lot of ways, she's a strategic mobilizer and I'm a visionary strategizer, right? And so it's not like it's this hard and fast rule, but what we're trying to get you to do through the unicorn team model is to understand that starting to teach people how to be strategic on your team is what's the game changer, which we're going to talk about in the strategizer role. And then third thing is the first person, if you're asking yourself, like, who do I hire first or who do I hire next? It's a mobilizer. Strategizers are very hard to find. Most strategizers can build their own companies. Guess what? You probably are a strategizer too in your mix.
Yep.
And you just don't know how to trust to be able to take that strategy forward. But mobilizers are a special character. They are a special beast. And we're going to talk about the components of what moves them. Actually, Sarah will be able to tell us because she's a mobilizer by nature. And it's like, you need a mobilizer because when you have a powerful visionizer and mobilizer duo at the minimum, strategy can be supported through even consultants potentially because you'll know how to ask the right questions of the people that are helping you on contract, because that's a big issue too that we see. And so it's powerful if you want the three things that I just mentioned: emotional support, being able to understand that you're wearing different hats at different times in your business. So that's going to happen no matter what. So it's not like by adopting this, that's going to change.
Right. Yep.
It's going to be minimized and in the right buckets. And then third, as I said, it's all about the mobilizer.
I love it. And I like that too, that Unicorn Team is such a holistic approach to it. It's about the visionary and the visionizer understanding how to have vision, but also strategic, and also what has to be mobilized. The mobilizer doing their thing, but also understanding that there's strategy that they have to think about and that it has to tie to the vision. And then the strategizer going, not only am I coming with strategy, but it has to map back to the vision. I have to show how that maps back, and then how it also needs to be mobilized. It's not just concepts that we're putting on a whiteboard and then it doesn't get executed well in translation. So really, really, really good.
It's really good. When a visionizer behaves like this, it is actually our natural state. We get pulled into, unless we're total assholes, okay, which is possible. You're an asshole. You're probably watching too, or a narcissist. You're probably watching too. So no, we don't work with you, but you can be converted. Like you absolutely, you can be converted. Because what I believe is that you feel like you've had to put up a wall that's quite angry and emo because you haven't been able to figure out the human part yet. And I get it. It's hard. I will say it again. Humans are hard. We make life hard for ourselves. Our brain does tricky shit. And we have to learn how to manage that in a way that creates synergy. Not harmony and not balance. Synergy. And when you have that, you'll have more of what you want. And be happier too, so everybody will like you again.
All right, lightning round. Lightning round. Okay, one answer or one phrase in answer to each question. What are common characteristics of a visionizer?
Crazy people.
Still not ready. This is the second time I heard it. Okay, number two. What are visionizers responsible for in the business?
They're responsible for owning their business.
On behalf of everyone who works in businesses, in all entrepreneurs everywhere. Thank you for that. All right, and then number three. How do you know you're ready to lead a unicorn team?
You'll never be ready.
Oh, I love that. I love it.
You just choose.
I love it. So, if you're a visionizer and you found this helpful, let me know in the comments below, what did you like the best? Share this with a fellow visionizer because the world needs more of you in pocket, protected, doing the amazing things that you do. We see you. And we will catch you all on the next